Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Look at this. We already got 30 people in here. Great to see y'all. So, I do want to start off by first honoring your boy, Rusty Shackelford, who was first in the chat. So, Rusty, my friend, aka Rusty Trombone, congratulations. Thank you for being first in chat. You, my friend, are due one crisp high five. And let's say what's up to all the channel members. We got, all right, so channel members in the chat, sound off if you may. We got Robert Ribbit Harrison. What's up, brother? Kurt 24. What up? What up? One Love Design. What's going on, player? Good to see you. CNT Designs and Arms. And CNT, just so you know, I'm trying to find a way to hang up the plasma cuts that you made for me behind me. They're sitting right there, like right there. So soon enough, I will have a place for them, my friend. Goombeam, Chenamemba, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Old Rusty, back at it again. Rusty Trombone Shackelford. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming in. Oh, and of course, Chenamemba. Oh, nice. ADX R920. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Ron Wayne, who has officially doubled me up in subscribers. Yo, Ron Wayne went from 500 subscribers to over 6,000 subscribers in 4 weeks. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Ron, I'm happy for you, brother. Congratulations. And keep it going. Keep that content going. His trick is to drop one short every day at the same time. Apparently, that's the magic. I just don't have patience or organization for it. But congrats to you. T for Tejas. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Who else we got up in here? Evan Budzinski. What's up, brother? Evan, you're probably not going to be able to see very well, but the blue glowy Glock. Well, there's 5 blue Glocks right there, but the one blue one with the denim ceramic filament is there. I got it on a blue ceramic denim blue whatchamacallit? What do you call it? The pistol stands. And I have right now the Pinty Riser. For all you guys out there, if you know what that is, you are officially gangsters. Hell yeah, Ron. You got it, brother. The Pinty Riser is a 3D printed riser mount for Aimpoint T1 pattern optics. And it's 3D printed, so why not print it in glowy blue? So we're keeping it popping. So all you channel members, I appreciate it. Evan Budzinski was the one that contributed that blue ceramic denim blue filament. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Mike McClune, what's up, brother? He said turkey burger, salad, and waffle fries. Waffle fries? Oh, waffle fries, like Chick-fil-A. I got you. Was on the dinner menu tonight. So if you don't know why I have everybody post about what they had for dinner, it's to kind of throw the algorithm off, because in the first 7 to 10 minutes of a live stream, YouTube is very picky about the content that you have out there. So let's sock it to the algorithm and talk about food for a second. Now, of course, the honorable mentions, and then we'll go ahead and keep it moving. Hello and good evening, DLD After Dark, and everyone in the chat. Ground turkey is a blasphemy. That's just not true, John Kimball. I'll start with you, John Kimball. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Barton Fink, Misty Miss Wayne, the end is near, beware. What's up, brother? I did, yeah. I finally did. Thank you. Constitutional Carpenter. Who else we got? We got Misty Miss Wayne. We got Joe Morris. What's up, brother? We got Officer 47. Welcome. Second live stream. Well, welcome. I appreciate you being in here. We got, of course, Key ASC. What's up, brother? I almost missed you, man. My chat just jumps on this device, man. It's a pain. Mr. Bew Glue. Good to see you. I want to ride. Agariza, Deep State Daga. And who else we got? Let me get a bunch of motherfuckers up in here. Man Against the Masses, what's going on, player? If I missed you, and JC9, T for Tejas, all you guys. There we go, JC9. Goombeam. And as you guys know, right, Goombeam is a friend of the show. He makes some bomb-ass flashlights that are like a bazillion candelas. And lumens are cool, but candela is king. So check him out, Goombeam. I do have an affiliate link if y'all want to support the kid. And PC, Chenamemba, what's going on, player? Vanessa Kitty, thank you for coming in. The one of two females that frequents the channel. But based-ass females, I must say. So let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, today we got a very, very special guest. I don't know if you know this. I mean, if you're not familiar with his content, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, if you don't know, then just, I'm just kidding. Don't leave, but, stick around. So I was able to call a few folks and work out a few deals, stroke a few checks. I'm just kidding. I just asked him. Clint Eastwood, what's up, brother? I hate Google. What up? All you guys, thank you for coming in. So today we have the one, the only, the one gentleman that made it to 14,000 subscribers in like less than a fucking year. Your boy, Risky Chrisky. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time to join us, my friend.
Glad to be here.
Hell yeah. I do you use like a special kind of moisturizer? That I love. Your skin is just so like supple.
Yeah, I got a little bit of rosacea in this area, so I hit it twice a day.
Yeah, I didn't see it till you mentioned it. Oh yeah, you can see it a little bit there. Yeah,
right here.
Yeah, right there.
Not so much here or here.
Just here.
Right in here.
Oh man, best movie reference ever. Well, for all of those that don't know who you are, take a moment, just kind of let people know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
So I do like Minuteman type videos. If you're out there trying to get prepared for if you perceive there to be some sort of imminent conflict heading our way, or you're just a survivalist or prepper and you're looking for tactical, mindedness. That's sort of where I come into play. I got YouTube channel here. I'm over on Rumble as well in case I get canceled, and Instagram. But yeah, just mainly the tactical side of preparedness, if you will.
Oh yeah, and you have a little bit of a background there. You did something and currently do something that kind of pertain to all of the above. Tell the folks a little bit about your history and things you've done.
So I went in the Army at a young age, right out of high school. 9/11 fresh in my mind. Wanted to go over and get some payback. That's at least that was my thinking. So I did some time as a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division, deployed with them, got out, did a little security stuff, civilian, nothing crazy, and then went from there and did a lot of first responder, firefighting, EMS type work, and branched off and did a lot of specialty work even within that, as far as rescue and ropes and technical type stuff, water stuff. So I like to kind of bring all that into that jack of all trades position, if you will, for that tactically minded preparedness individual, so that if worse comes to worse, they can take all their life experiences or pull from here and pull from there and make the best decision when it counts.
Hell yeah. And interestingly enough, we already got some questions. Chamber Defense, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Now, Detective John Kimball asks, is Risky Chrisky aware of them? Yes, he is. And there are other forms of social media that he communicates on that those types of things are discussed. Just rest assured that he's one of us.
I'm on. I got a Telegram channel, but we've had an influx of spam bots and things like that. So we went private, but if y'all are interested, reach out and I can send a link to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. You still require like sperm sample, copy of their passport, stuff like that.
Yes, vaccination status, everything.
Yeah, yeah. I thought so. Another question. Did you go to Ramadi?
I did not. I've seen it from a distance. Let's just say that. I was not there at the critical moment.
Okay. What kind of things did you do in the military? I know you said you're 82nd Airborne paratrooper. Do you want to talk about that at all? We don't have to. You can talk about whatever you want to.
I mean, we can, right? I didn't have some crazy experience like some people do. You know, it's not. I wasn't in any one specific battle to write home about. I was in. I did. My deployment was a year long. I split up over a couple of areas. I was in downtown Baghdad, so we did a lot of patrolling within maybe 10 or 15 miles of the green zone, raids, stuff like that. I was a machine gunner and a long range marksman. And then in the second half, we went out sort of near the Tigris River and did some more foot patrols, things like that. Wasn't very exciting, but still had a good time nonetheless. My job, I was an infantryman in the airborne. So we say an airborne infantryman, 11 Bravo in the Army. So basically all the stuff, all the regular grunt type stuff, that's what I did.
Fuck yeah. What did you have like an M16A2 or something like that? What were you rocking?
I rocked a few. So I had an M4. At one point, I had one with a 203 noob tube underneath. I rocked a 240 Bravo for a good bit of time. I've even dismounted that and went on patrol on foot with the 240, an M14, Mark 19, a 50 cal, 12 gauge shotgun, sawed-off shotgun. I blasted some shotgun shells downrange.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Dude, that fucking Mark 19 is a beast. That thing is
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I can't even imagine. Now, a lot of people don't know that the rounds between the M203 and the Mark 19 are not interchangeable. I think they just assume that they are, but they're pretty different, right?
You know, I didn't even know, dude. So that's, you know, I just learned that just now. I mean, they're in links, so it wouldn't just carry over, but I didn't even realize they weren't the same round.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that either. You know, I was kind of thinking like 40 mils, 40 mil, but apparently the barrel of a Mark 19 is set to time them in a specific way, and the rounds are slightly different. Of course, they're linked, right? But so it's not like you're going to be like popping them out to throw me or 203. But I learned that not too long ago. We had actually shout out to Danny Meatball. We had him on, and he's an EOD tech, and we basically talked about explosives for 2 hours. But it was cool.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, pretty interesting. But that's pretty dope. So what? Now I know with what you are doing now, you know, there's similar skill sets of what you're doing now. I don't know how much you want to talk about it. You know, I don't want to like put you out there or anything, but you're
You're
doing.
good. I don't know what you're talking about now. I just make the YouTube videos.
Didn't you say you were doing firefighting?
Oh no, I did do that. I'm not so that so that job I got fired for, remember that one? I was a firefighter
Yeah.
right before that. So I left firefighting to get into that because I was like, man, if I want to make that kind of money being a firefighter, I got to work on all my off time. So there's no way for me to be home with my family and still do that. And I was like, with this other job, I could still be home as much as I am as a firefighter and triple my salary, more or less.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. That's what's up. Okay, see, I wasn't sure if you were still doing that or not. So you've been done with that for a while.
Yeah, I got out of that maybe 2019.
What were
I
your
got out of that professionally?
there?
Yeah.
as a firefighter? What were some of your experiences there?
Oh man. I will say, I did longer as a firefighter than I did as a soldier. And so maybe that has something to do with it, but people don't realize the extent in which, and I'm going to say firefighters, I would assume it goes over to police to a certain extent and also like EMS to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But like these people are seeing crazy stuff on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, that the regular public isn't even aware is happening around them all the time. So whereas, in the service, you can go get deployed for 6, 9 months, a year, and then come back for a couple of years, and that's in wartime, right? Or maybe never even get deployed. These people do this every single shift for 30 years. And it's just insane, the amount of stuff that they've seen. Like, a lot of times I look back and I'm like, I'm having trouble dealing with an experience or something like that. And then I think about a guy or a captain here or, this chief that was involved in this incident. And it's like, they're still doing that job. I've moved on. I'm a YouTuber now, and they're still doing that. And it just blows my mind, the resiliency and the strength that a lot of these people have. It's very few people realize the level of commitment that which some of these guys will do, running in and seeing death and watching people die horrendous deaths on a weekly basis, and they'll still do it for absolute, horrible low amounts of money. Right? They could be, compensated much better than that.
Yeah, like total dog shit money. I've heard some crazy stories, man. I could only imagine like doing it for a long period of time. Actually, look at this. Mike Concho is in chat. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Funny enough, we had a little conversation about this earlier. He says, "What up, crispy and dark?" I'm gonna guess he was using voice text. Shout out to CRS Firearms. Thank you, brother. And let me see here. Yeah, so I've heard some crazy ass stories, dude. I know, a lot of people, have kind of said both good and bad things about like Donut Operator, for an example, right? Some people hate him, some people love him. I remember hearing him tell a story where he had to do 2 calls back to back, where kind of on the same vein you were talking about, like, we never know what, like, somebody in fire or EMS or law enforcement or whatever they may be doing, something like that, may be going through. And he told a story of one day where he knew he was done with policing. And that was a day that he had to go to a traffic accident where a toddler was hit by a car. And they were basically, like spaghetti on the street. And after witnessing something as like horrible and horrific as that, he had to go to another call that was basically a Karen fighting with her neighbor about like their trash cans or something like that. And he's like hearing this lady like flip out and yell and kirk out over something like so insignificant and trivial, while he's still trying to process the horrific thing that he just experienced. And he was like, that was literally my last day on the job. And I couldn't imagine what people like that go through every single day.
That's kind of funny. I hadn't heard that story before, but it surprisingly, it rings home very, very hard. I knew more or less. I had a similar experience. I ran a fire, and I stayed months on after this. 6, 7, 8 months, maybe even longer, maybe closer to a year. But I ran a fire, and it was part of a double. So it was in the first half of the shift, right? So within the first 24 hours, because there were 24-hour long shifts. So I may be 16 hours into the first shift. It's like the middle of the night, right? We're sleeping. It's 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So at 8 a.m. the next morning, I was supposed to go to a different station and do another 24 hours. So it's like 4 in the morning, and we get the tones dropped for a fire in our first due territory. And as things would have it, You know, I pulled a couple out, but 5 kids ended up dying. And so I was the first one in the fire and everything. And I ended up having to pull another 24-hour shift after that. And I ran a few other people that died on the next shift. I mean, I was working downtown. I went from one station kind of in a place that burns a lot to another one that's in the heart of downtown where my fire department was at. And we ran a call at a nightclub for some shooting, right? And I'm sitting there still trying to process 5 kids on. These people are shooting each other over dancing, you know, and I'm like, this is stupid. What are we doing?
Dude, fire has got to be the most unforgiving, hellacious, just consuming like element there is, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Like, I never saw myself getting into fire at all. Like, if anything, it terrified me. Like the thought of burning to death or something like that. That was like, no way. Couldn't handle it whatsoever. And that's from being in the military, right? I was in the military before I became a firefighter, so that was my thinking. And what actually got me into it is I witnessed a car accident, and I was driving near my house, and I saw a head-on collision between a tractor trailer and a small like compact car.
Oh,
And the compact car had like swerved over, like they were on their phone or doing something, right into the middle lane. It was a 2-lane road, and this tractor trailer had tried to correct and swung into him and hit him. And the car was on fire, and the guy was, you know, pinned in and everything. And I had a Wrangler at the time, so I had a little fire extinguisher in there, and I was trying to get it out. And the guy, long story short, the guy ended up dying. I was trying to pull him out, and he lost his pulse as he's in my arms. I'm trying to pull him out, and nobody stopped it.
Civvy?
What's that?
This is as a civilian?
Yeah, this was when I was in school. Funny enough, I was actually considering dropping a packet to the FBI because I was like, I want to be in the HRT. Back then, I was like, I want to do something cool. And this happened. Thank God that I didn't do that. Right, that would suck to be on their team. But I couldn't believe
you'd be like surrounded by pedophiles, but you'd also have to carry a fucking 40 cal, man. That's unacceptable.
That's right, a Glock 23. There's nothing worse. And
yeah.
Nobody stopped to help though, and it infuriated me. And so that kind of got me into firefighting because then I saw the volunteers come out and how they did things. And it never occurred to me again about the fire and it being terrifying or, you know, whatever. And then once you get into the training and you're there up close with it, it's addicting, man. Like, we call it the IDLH, the immediately dangerous to life and health environment. So if you're in the IDLH, in the fire room, man, that's some fun shit. I'll tell you that. That's pretty cool.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, I've known a couple folks that were in a fire. So I used to work at a gun shop, and I mean, I would meet everybody from the police to EMTs to, you know, firefighters, and like the stories that I would hear. One dude was like a freaking go fast team guy, and you know, he told me a story one time that they kicked in a door for some reason. I don't know why, but it was some op, and he ended up basically like chest to chest, almost like super close quarters with this bad guy, insurgent, and he ended up getting in like a entangled fight. You know, they both were armed, but they were trying to keep each other from getting each other, you know, their guns and whatnot. And he ended up taking an AK magazine out of his carrier and like, the other guy's carrier, and he literally beat him to death with a loaded AK mag. He actually said at the end the magazine was empty because he was just beating. I've heard the stories. Like it's nuts, man. So
the question
I
though
don't.
was it a 5.45 or a 7.62 magazine? We got to know, you know.
That's a good question. I always pictured a 7.62 mag because I figure 5.45s are like Bakelite or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah, they're probably staying in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But like a steel AK mag fully loaded, like, bro, that's like a hammer, dude.
Yeah, that's gonna concave your face. No, thank you.
Yeah, and like the you know the front, like the lock, the point where it locks, like, oh yeah, that's no good. But I've actually told that story before on stream. But yeah, man, that's crazy, man. Oh, that's funny. I think people are posting about our stream on your Telegram. That's funny.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So now, obviously, I talked a little bit about your content, but I could not speak more highly of your content, man. The way that you look at things, the way that you communicate them, the way that you break them down is very like easy to digest, and it's kind of looking at it, what most people in our community look at as like very complicated, and it's just kind of looking at it with like simplicity, and I think that's cool. What got you into the channel and starting the channel and what you do now?
Well, to be completely honest, what got me into the channel is seeing other channels that I subscribe to and realizing like these dudes don't know any more than I do. And I'm subscribing to them, right? And it became apparent, and I don't remember the specific example, and I'm not going to, obviously mention that YouTuber's name, but like there was a point where I remember seeing, a video and realizing like they left all the good stuff out of this. And they've never talked about it. And it's like, it's probably because they don't know. And if I know that, or I'm searching something, right? Like I'm concerned there's going to be an economic collapse, or, as people say, SHTF or WROL, right? Those terms. And I'm searching those and I'm not coming up with the answers to the questions I have. And I'm like, somebody's got to put this stuff out there, right? And, the timing was right as far as I had gotten fired from another job. And my wife has always said, you should do a podcast or you need to do videos. And I've always just said no, right? It's not for me. And it was a combination of everything, right? Like at what point I'm convinced we're headed towards a collision course with either a tyrannical federal government or globalist powers, imposing their will. I'm so convinced I'm spending my hard-earned money on things to counteract that. It wouldn't hurt to get the word out, right? Like it literally is no skin off my back. If nobody knows who I am, if I can put out information that will help somebody, because I'm so convinced X, Y, or Z is going to happen. It's changed my life. Maybe somebody else is searching for answers and doesn't have the same experience that I do. And maybe I can help somebody live through the first phase or get to the next level in their progression of preparedness.
Damn, that's some pretty deep shit. And to kind of back up a little bit, that's really true. Like there's so much just like about like the content creators kind of putting shit out and kind of glossing over things, missing things, or incorrectly stating things. There's definitely a gap there. There's always room for another fucking awesome YouTuber. So that's dope. I'm glad that you got into it. It's definitely your thing. But about that, like we talk a lot about the government, like historical corruption. Like, I mean, there's hundreds of years of just blatant corruption, encroachments, and look at this, Mike Concho again. Mike Concho, thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, "Do you think the first step of making gun legislation is to fall in a K-hole for inspiration?" That means to do a bunch of ketamine. Maybe? I don't know.
I don't even know how to answer that.
That's CRS for you. But where basically I say all that just to say that I agree with most of what you said. And where do you see us, like, as a country right now? Zach Carr, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you for the super chat. My apologies.
No, you're good. I see, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't have a magic, crystal ball to look in. It's all this autistic, right? Like, I'm focused in on everything that's going on, and I'm seeing a pattern here and there, and I'm like, okay, so add this to this list, right? They're still pushing the war in Ukraine, right? They're still pushing the thing, right? They're still pushing whatever, false flag or gun reform, even though nobody wants it, right? It's like, it doesn't add up to me. So I'm putting these things in categories, and it's like, well, there's the side of everything's fine and we're going to vote our way out of this. And then here's the other side of, no, this is reality and it's getting dark and it's about to go nuclear because there's no way we can continue on this path. And so there's the sheep side and there's the common sense side. So like I've kind of got to the point where I say it on my channel all the time. I don't have to know what's going to go on because I don't. I can tell you there's 4 things that are going to happen, or at least one of these 4 things, if not all of them, will have to happen. And I think it'll happen before the inauguration of the next president. I think one side is going to have to cheat openly because the other side's going to be watching them saying, hey, don't put pizza boxes up in the windows when you count, and don't do mail-in voting and all this, right? So if they want to do nothing else, they're going to have to cheat, and we're looking for it, right? So that seems like a bad option, to just put all your eggs in that basket if you're them. So then the other thing they could do is prevent people like me or you from voting for the candidate who's like the conservative candidate, whether it's Trump or DeSantis or whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They have to prevent us from voting for that person. Or they have to prevent that person from running. Maybe they indict them. Maybe they say you're not allowed to run because you had classified, whatever, because we said so. Or they have to prevent the election from happening. And the only way I see that is if there's a foreign invasion or an alien invasion or something so catastrophic it ain't happened before. And so honestly, I think, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think one, if not all of those 4 things will happen before the next president gets in. And that's a catastrophe. Any one of those things happening is a catastrophe.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, I think that in the future, and I don't know when either, right? Like, but I do think in the future, our currency is going to become food and water, right? And precious metals in the form of brass and lead. I think we're going to end up being forced to revert back to in a much more traditional form of living. I think will likely be, in some form or fashion, will likely be um, restricted, whether it's on purpose or on accident or some catastrophe or something, will be restricted of water, food, electricity, shelter, security, like our core things for survival, which are already controlled by the government, are likely going to be used against us, I think. And that's why I love your channel, because you focus on preparedness and preparation, and I think those things are vital. And you know what? If nothing fucking happens, awesome. I got food, water, shelter, security, firearms, whatever the fuck. And if something does happen, great. I got food, water, shelter, security, guns and shit like that. So I don't see a downside to preparation. I don't know why it's kind of had this dark shadow casted over it.
I think it's had the dark shadow just because of, the overlords, if you want to call them that. They understand the Agenda 2030, right, or the Great Reset. You can't. You probably know this just as well as anybody. That didn't come out of thin air. Has been a plan for a while, if that's really what's happening. So why wouldn't they, since they own the mainstream media, demonize the people that see it coming, right? Make them out to be loons, just like anyone who says fix 2020, they're a loon, right? Anyone who says, oh, I'm good, I'm just going to be a pure blood, right, in reference to that, right? They're a loon, clearly. If you don't want your kid to be sitting on a transvestite stripper's lap at a storybook reading, right? You're a loon. It's just, they openly show
Now,
what
does
they're going
she
to
look
do.
like a transvestite?
She had a lot of like an
Sorry,
eyeshadow thing going on. It was a little bit too much blush. It was a little over the top, but I think that's the look that she was going for.
Yeah. Just a quick shout out. And actually, before I do, earlier you had shared your feelings on 40 caliber. Can you remind everyone in chat here how you feel about 40 caliber?
The only dudes I know that carry 40 caliber kill dogs professionally, so it's just not really my thing. I have a couple dogs. I'm more of a 9mm guy, but
I say that because one of our viewers here, Too Many Choices, him and I go back and forth literally almost every stream at some point about 40 cal versus 9mm. Now, of course, we all know that 9mm is like far superior in nearly every single way. But it was just hilarious. And Too Many Choices, brother, if you go back to maybe 10 minutes in, we had a quick conversation about that and how terrible 40 caliber is. But moving along, well, damn, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting how like your past kind of positioned you like perfectly to have the experience, the like time in country, everything that you've done kind of has given you the experience needed to do something like you're doing now with your channel. I think that's dope.
yeah, I feel very fortunate. One thing it's my mother-in-law, and everyone who's married or has been married, they know about mother-in-laws, right? She's always had this saying of everything happens for a reason, and she'd always say it at the time that I didn't want to hear that, right? Like, come on, you're pissing me off saying that. But the more I think about it, the more I truly believe it. And I'm not the most religious guy by any stretch. I got plenty of defects, right? But I feel more so than ever in my life that it's like God is drawing me towards this. I can't explain it. It just feels like everything has happened for a reason. And I get to a point and I'm like, okay, there's no doors open. What do I do? And I just ask, hey, I just want to do the right thing for the right reasons, and a door opens. And that's happened a few times, and now I'm here. So I'm just kind of trying to remain doing the right thing. And if the door doesn't open, cool. Then that's the end of Risky Chrisky's channel, but they're continuing to open, so I'm going to keep going through them.
Fuck yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. And that's this is a place that you're allowed to talk about God and Jesus, and that's well, at least from me. Now YouTube may feel differently, but you're absolutely allowed to have that conversation here. And funny enough, Zach chat, brother, thank you. So Zach Carver, this $5 super chat, and he says Queen Elizabeth now joins King George III in hell.
That's right. Odd timing too with the new PM, isn't it? The new prime minister, right? Like they're going to push something that maybe the old one didn't like, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Yeah, like maybe something that something's going to come out where it's just too perfect, right? Yeah. It's interesting how everything's just already queued up. But you're right, Zach. She is going to join all the right people in the right place, and I'm sure she's going to be celebrating George Floyd's sobriety. You know, all those great things in hell. One Love Design says Tiak Fidayola. What the fuck is that?
A German?
I don't know. It may be Jewish. I don't know. We do have some conversations about you know, the Zionist world, you know, running the banks and the, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. One Love Design. I appreciate you, brother. And please let me know what you mean to say in English. That's my preferred form of communication. Oh, shit. Apache Wolf. What up? Corn Pops Revenge. What's going on, man? Good to see you guys. So, for everybody in here that came late, first off, get your shit together. Secondly, make sure you check out Risky Chrisky and subscribe to his channel, or I'll find out that you didn't and I'll send you a jart. If you don't know what a jart is, I will disclose that by the end of the stream. So let's talk a little bit about some of the videos you put out. You know, you put out some awesome content, like you know, of the modern day militia, the what's the term for it? The kind of like a militia, like an appropriate, like kind of like a fire team, like a squad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let people know a little bit about like some of your content.
So I want the organization to be there. If dudes are really looking for strategy, it's very difficult for me to put on YouTube like, hey, you should hit XYZ target in XYZ manner because of this. That's going to get a knock on my door. You know, I don't need that. It's not going to help anyone. My channel is going to go down the drain, right? You're going to have to fill in those gaps on your own. But what I can provide you is the organizational structure, right? So like, hey, if we're going to go out, maybe we should have this dude with a radio. Maybe this guy should have something to shoot over defilade, or since we can't do that because we're civilians, maybe we can find a drone, or maybe we can find this dude here who has a forced reset trigger and we can throw a 20-inch upper on his you know, rifle and give them some D60 drum mags. And then, well, now we're talking. Now we can have some support by fire, if you will. And then we can have a legitimate team to maneuver with while this team lays down suppressive fire and puts, you know, the bad homies, the glowies, their head down so they can maneuver on them and they stay in their head down while then they cross streams, if you will, and we annihilate the enemy. So, you know, like I said, I can't tell people, hey, you need an EFP to blow up armor. Here's how you make one. That's not going to work in this environment. So I can say, hey, if you're going to go out and put yourself in this position, bring this along. Don't carry this. Make sure you have these guys with you and be looking out for, you know, such and such.
Shit. Well, I may want to take down that EFP video then. For people out there that don't know, an EFP is an explosive formed projectile, which is like when you have like energetics of some sort with, like, let's say like a sheet of, you know, copper in front of it, and then you use different tactics to force the energy in one direction, and you actually create like an armor penetrating projectile using explosives. Actually, really similar to like the science behind just traditional ballistics. It's actually pretty cool if you're into studying that kind of.
It's so unbelievably effective. It was going through MRAPs, up armored MRAPs, and the first guys that I know that died in my unit, it was a driver and a passenger. They got killed. It went off on the driver's side, decapitated the driver. The gunner who stands in between them, he lost both of his legs, and the passenger was decapitated. It went through the armor, liquefied into a copper jacket, sprayed liquid flaming hot copper throughout, and then blew out the other side. And this is dudes in a third world country making this stuff, from random parts.
Dude, I mean, I've seen some of the like IEDs and shit out there, and a lot of people, like, when they talk about the conflict out there, we're looking at 2 decades, right? Like, I've heard of like some guys, some team guys, and people that have been like I've been out there several times, and every time, I mean, they like evolve. Their skills change, their tactics change, and even though people say like, oh, it's a bunch of dudes in bathrobes and flip flops with AK, like, some of the devices I've seen are actually pretty fucking complex.
Yeah. And they evolved to the tactics, right? That's the thing that people are going to have to understand. If there's a full-blown war on the homeland, right, whether it's Red Dawn scenario or full-on tyranny or whatever you notionally want to go with, there's a path to winning. One of the few things that people fail to realize, though, is if we get into that full-blown conflict, not like the GWAT, not like Vietnam, but like World War II or World War I, where full-blown unrestricted warfare is authorized. That's what we got to worry about. And that's the one thing, and I haven't done a series on this. I'm going to do a series on unrestricted warfare. That's the thing that we have to watch out for as civilians, because if they're not doing that, then we can win. Just like the Afghanis notionally won, or the Vietnamese notionally won, because we wouldn't go to the depths and the methods necessary to absolutely decimate them. Regardless of if you agree with it or not, we didn't go to those depths. So I would assume the next war is going to be big enough to where they will use unrestricted warfare, all weapons, no rules.
You mean kind of like compromising on our like traditional morals of like things we typically wouldn't do to strategically win, like that?
I would assume the federal government would use that against its own people, or what we call patriots, to win, because it's such a threat to them. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean,
I would,
think,
at least I take the position of assuming they would, so that I'm prepared for that. Because otherwise, I'm SOL if they go that route.
I mean, I agree. Like, personally, like, looking at what they've done, undercover and blatantly in the open, I think, once war is declared, war of some sort, I think they would have no fucking problem getting their hands dirty. And that's honestly, that's why, like, when I looked at, I got a few sets of armor, but I was like, man, when I got armor, I got level 4 plates with level 3A full coverage behind it, like doubling up, because I'm like, I am expecting people that live in my country to, be, fighting with me. And I was in, I was in your chat, and somebody had mentioned something. They had said yeah, we need to showcase that, like, basically we're not the ones to fuck with, so like people won't invade. And I was like, we would only be so lucky to be fighting a foreign enemy,
Right? That would unite us against them. The powers that be don't want that.
Yeah. One Love Design, brother, thank you for the super chat. That 223, thank you. Although I do prefer 556. No, I'm kidding. Dark, it's Gaelic for our time will come. Damn, that's some deep shit, bro.
Hey, Dark, I have
don't
to piss
want.
real fast.
Yeah, you're good. Go pee pee. I'll
be
keep
right
everyone
back.
busy. Yep, I'll pull you out for a sec. Marvin Van Loon, Wolverines. Hell yeah! I actually been seeing the telegram. He's going to be right back. He's just taking a piss. I've been seeing the Telegram notifications while on the stream. The only people that could invade the continental U.S. would be the UN, right? I'm telling you, we're going to be, if, God forbid, if something like that happens, we're going to be likely fighting against our people in our country. He better do a mask change. You know what? This dude was talking about taking the hockey mask and cutting the forehead off so he could run a bump with fucking nods on it, man. This dude's a pure Chad. Tactical Trash Panda, what's up, brother? Just subscribe to Risky Chrisky. Thanks for this live. Hell yeah, man. Thank you. And everybody here. So Tactical Trash Panda is a homie. Not only is he a homie, he's got an awesome channel, awesome Instagram. He is going to be doing a live this coming up Saturday at 9 p.m. And they're actually doing a pretty big giveaway. They got a whole bunch of shit that they're giving away. So make sure that you stop by, show them some love, and subscribe to Tactical Trash Panda as well. Like I said, he's a homie, and we want to support him as well. Let me see. I missed a couple things. The government's only problem is who is going to fight for them. All the guys I know but retired and active say 90% of the armed forces would not fight against Americans. So I believe that to be true as well. However, one of the things I said is that when our time comes, if our time comes, when our time comes to, am I good to put you back in? All right, cool. I didn't want you,
you didn't want the mask to come off?
Yeah. Oh, shit. If I understand what you're saying, that, most people say, 90% of the armed forces wouldn't fight against us. But honestly, here's the deal, guys. I think realistically, we're probably looking closer to like 40% wouldn't fight their own people, because once you look at like sustainability and survivability, like, do you think those people are willing to starve to death and die of thirst and watch their family die to not shoot their their random civilians or citizens? At some point they don't give a fuck. Like, it's the same conversation as like the last piece of bread, right? Like, you can have your brother, your friend, your family member, your neighbor, whatever, and you guys could be the best of friends, the best relationship with family. When it comes down to the last piece of bread, somebody will murder your ass so their kid doesn't starve. It's sustainability and survivability over relationships. That's sadly, if you've ever been like so thirsty or starving, literally starving to death, and I think there's going to be a bigger fight than we may be anticipating, if God forbid it goes in a direction like that.
Yeah, I think one thing people fail to realize is the number involved here. So, like, when people say, oh, the military by far wouldn't do this, it's like, we don't need the whole military. You just need the people whose job it is to enforce this within the military. That's the combat arms, right? So that's very small. That's like literally like 1 or 3%. It's like the people who would actually be kicking in the doors to say, give me your guns or whatever. This is a very small number. So then you look at that. Let's look at the number, right? Well, we would assume those guys, the door kickers, the Rangers, the SEALs, right, the Green Berets, the MARSOC Raiders, these dudes would stand up for us. Well, the last time I checked, these are the same dudes telling us not to dry fire and making fun of LARPers, right, because they work hand in hand with the CIA. And these are the same individuals. Well, excuse me, let me take that back a notch. My old unit, specifically, I knew guys who went to Hurricane Katrina in the 82nd Airborne Division and took guns away from people. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
even, it wasn't even so bad that these guys were afraid to talk about it and tell us because they don't care. A lot of these guys aren't gun guys. They don't even realize. So for anyone who says they're not going to do what they're going to stand up for you, I hate to break this to you. They're not. The ones that would do that got out because they didn't want to get this. Because if they're willing to do that, you best be willing, or best understand, they're going to be willing to impose their will onto you because they were told to.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Especially when like they think that they're serving their family, right? Because people may put patriotism high on their list, or they may put their brothers and sisters high on their list, but in the end, they report to their God, themselves, and their family, right? And you are not on that list, and that's just the truth. Timothy Harper says, "Risky Chrisky, you would not believe how many patriots show up armed and knowledgeable about their AR, but can't even tell me what frequency they're on."
Well, yeah, ham radio is a bitch, right? There's
Yeah,
gatekeepers involved, and they're mostly morbidly obese incels that are 60 years old working on a contract for whatever government agency to say and narc on you for using the wrong frequencies, right? That's a problem inherently with the ham community, but
yeah,
people in general, and that's what I want to get across. The whole, people say the M word, right? The militia. That has a bad connotation with it for so many reasons, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It should be great. And the whole notion of all these dudes, these sheepdog type people, and they got their guns and camo, but they don't know how to work a radio. That is a legitimate problem. But even more so than that
yeah.
are the guys who show up with the radios who think they know how to use them and are going to get everybody killed because they don't understand SIGINT and they don't understand the capabilities of the federal government to track your movement and to radio direction find, amongst 1,000 other things that are so above my pay grade. I don't even understand them. So it's like, this is really, you got to go balls deep in this if you want to be successful. And historically, the militia is cannon fodder for this exact reason. So
Yeah.
my whole thing is, if we're going to be needed, if we're going to be necessary, if there's an invasion, or if our forces need to be bolstered, we got to step our game up to the max because everything is relying on it.
So I had not like a revelation, but it finally like kicked me. Well, I just moved into a new place. I'm recently separated with my wife, and it's like fucking terrible to not be like, waking up with my 5-year-old daughter every day and putting her down every day, and it's kind of made me like reflect a lot internally. And I noticed the other day I did something crazy, like I vacuumed the steps or some shit like that. And I was like, bro, like my arms are tired from vacuuming the steps. It's like, holy fuck, like I am completely out of shape. How the fuck do I, see myself, like outliving, whatever, like the next guy or whatever, if I'm not in good enough shape? And so, I'm going to take my physical health more seriously, as well. And there's a lot of correlation with like physical health, like psychological health, mental health, and all that shit. And real quick before you respond, the guys in chat that are talking about being like banned or whatever, like no one's. I can see all your comments. No one's banning you. It may just be that no one is responding to you because you're not cool. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm sorry. um, no, I love you guys, and no, you're not banned. You're not timed out. You guys are good. And Angry Sarge, what's up, brother? Good to see you. And I missed some other folks too, but love y'all. Good to see you, and thank you for coming. So, my apologies. Risky. Back to you.
One specific event comes to mind when you tell me that about vacuuming the steps. Um, Grand Thumb mentioned in a video that a lot of people have seen, if you're not fit or you're not in shape, you're going to die. Referring to if you're going to be involved in this whole resistance, partisan, Minuteman, patriot movement, if something happens, right, and you're going to stand up, you better be in shape. To put that into perspective for people, right? And this is a gut check, because this is a gut check I live with all the time. The most in shape I've ever been was when I was in the service. My 2-mile time when I was in the Army was 10:15. So I could run back-to-back 5-minute, 7-second miles, and I was good. And I was on the objective, throwing up, vomiting, as I was going down my lane, overtaking an objective regularly in training. And I would be vomiting because I wasn't good enough. Because we had walked 10 miles there. Then you do it. Then you go through the objective. And you got to walk 10 miles back or whatever. And it's like, people don't realize with 50 or 100 pounds on your back, that is brutal. And in the moment, I mean, think about it. I'm running a 2-mile of 10 minutes and 15 seconds, and I don't have the cardio to deal with the things at hand. So for people who are sitting there thinking, oh, I'm going to be okay, or it'll be good, and they got a few extra pounds, like, unfortunately, that's not the case. That leeway doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, stamina and like energy is everything. Now, even like I'm not just trying to like hype myself up, but like when situations have called for it, even though like I'm a big ass dude, like I'm a fucking ox. If I got to run for, X amount of time or miles or what, I'm just going to tough it the fuck out and do it. It's going to suck. I'm going to be hurting. I'm going to be dragging, but I'll find a way to do it. Just like, like a fight. If I get in a fight, I may fucking puke afterwards, but like I'm not going down, but still everything, virtually like nearly every single thing in my life would improve if I were in better shape. And if we're taking like, preparedness as seriously as we're discussing, then like, spending money, changing, habits and life changes and all this shit that's happening, like getting into shape should be one of the first things that we should do. So that's something that I'm going to start taking much more seriously. And, I think that's something that we all should really look at. And for those in chat, just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. So come on now, stop eating that shit from McDonald's or whatever.
That's right. I can literally attest to that. Like, I'm skinny. I'm 5'9", 165. I'm not in that great of shape. Like, I could literally double my fitness level. I'm coming from a point of like, look at me, I need to improve. I'm not throwing punches at other people. I don't like working out. I only work out when I find it fun. And that's not the right answer, right? Like, I'll go if y'all are playing a game or some shit like that. Let's go play wall ball, right? Let's go get drunk and play fucking dodgeball. I'll go do that. That's not helping me, right?
Yeah. Well, I, for one, think you're a beautiful man and you're in great shape.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Looks like we got a bunch of your people in here. Hey, Night Custom Builds, I'm over 2 weeks McFlurry free, okay? I just want to throw that out there. I am clean from the McFlurries. Dark ain't running far. Hey, for a big motherfucker, I can move, man. I can move. Buy some kettlebells. Apache Wolf, what's up, brother? Heath just says Viagra. I'm not sure what that. Maybe it's like a psyop, like give the enemy Viagra so everyone gets like massive erections, and then they're just like, oh my god, what's going on? And then we just like cap them all,
Drop their blood pressure with the Viagra, then get them, adrenaline up and watch them all pass out.
Boom. Now you're thinking. Yep. DLD After Dark. One of the best things I could do for myself mentally and physically after a breakup was get a gym pass. Best choice of my life. Oh, hold on, I missed you. Chat's moving too fast, y'all. Best choice of my life at the time. Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. I appreciate that. CNT Designs, there's a point there. McFlurry Free Dark. I love you, my dog. You too, man. Love you, brother. P38 Wilberto, what's up, man? Have you tried steroids? No, I've not. Yeah, I just don't do that. Yeah, and don't do like substances and drugs and stuff like that. That's bad. Um, I've been pretty open about this. I had a substance abuse issue and was addicted to opiates for a very long time, and I have over 11 and a half years clean.
There you go.
I never really noticed how much DLD After Dark looks like Private Pile from Full Metal Jacket. Oh, fuck off! Come on, man. He's the one who had the balls to pull it. Or no, that's bad. Never mind. If you force yourself to do it, you'll feel better after. Usually, yeah. True that. Oh, Damian Chris, what's up, brother? Okay, so if you could leave the people with something before we wrap up here, what would be some advice that you could lay on the crowd?
All right. If I could lay on the crowd anything, see, I wasn't ready for this. This is an obvious question, right? Before you get an interview, what would you leave people with? You'd think I'd prepare that in advance. But this is, I'm super amateurish, so we're gonna come up with something on the fly.
You went through this shit like a champ, bro. I mean, you're a dude, right? Like all of us are just dudes, like husbands, fathers, whatever.
The mask helps. I can be whoever I want, right?
That's true.
I would say if I could leave everyone with one thing, it's don't think because you have a firearm you're safe. Even if you have a little bit of training, right? Understand where you're lacking. Understand it doesn't make you invincible. If anything, it puts you on a higher propensity for getting killed with your own gun because you don't know enough about it. So, yeah, cool. We love guns. Get them, right? Get more guns, but get the training to know how to use them. And I say that as a guy who's not making any money off of you getting training, right? It doesn't affect me monetarily if you go out and train. It affects us for the benefit of all of us if we're all trained and proficient. So find it however you have to. Ask somebody. You don't have to pay for it, but just get training and learn more about that dangerous tool you carry.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. I am super lucky. I've never really talked about it. I've shared some some trainings that I've done with the viewers, but there's a specific training facility near me. It's actually a shooting range that is also a very large training facility on the East Coast, and they have a lot to offer, and that's something that I'm looking at. Like, okay, me getting kind of back in shape, and some of the things that they offer. Like, I've done a lot of the training courses that they offer, but they offer some super high level shit that I really like to work towards and work up to. So if I said who it was and where it was, it would totally fucking dox my ass. But it's just something that is somewhere in Virginia, and yeah, y'all will already probably fucking find it. So so I'm gonna take training more seriously, my physical fitness more seriously, and I think we get so like caught up on stuff, right? Like the stuff could be guns, the stuff could be ammo or armor, it could be food and water, but we've talked about this before on the show. It's like you could store as much food and as much water as you want, buy as many guns, as much ammo as you want. It is just stuff. Those are consumables. Firearms are items to protect yourself with, but they're also potentially currency, depending on what kind of world we're living in. And that's just really kind of scratching the surface. Like, you wouldn't go buy a toolbox. Like, I'm talking to the guys out here. You wouldn't go buy a toolbox, bring it home with like a hammer and nails, and be like, "I'm a carpenter," right? Like, You don't go, buy a fucking bag of sugar and be like, I've made a cake, right? It's just like one piece of what we're doing, and the ingredient isn't the product. So, I think all that shit kind of, falls in the same category there.
Oh yeah.
So,
Like, I went through a lot to get a pair of nods, right? And a lot of guys think, oh, this is the end all be all. Get nods, get lasers, get short barrels and suppressors. That means nothing. This is useless without everything else. This literally is useless if you don't know everything else that has to go with it. So don't get caught up in the weeds. Like, if you got an SKS and a Chi-Com rig, cool. Maximize that, right? Be the best with what you got for yourself. You don't have to be some guy on the internet. You can't afford it. That's the card you're dealt. That's cool. Roll it, roll with that, rock it as good as you can, and own it. And nobody's gonna fault you for it.
okay. I don't know though. I mean, nods are pretty fucking cool.
Nods are fucking sick.
Is that a PBS 14?
Yeah. A little 14. That's all I got. I don't have some dual tubes like a cool guy. I don't have multiple pairs. Is all. I'm at my buddy's apartment to get away from the kids and to use the better internet than I have in the county. I live out near Brush Beater. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him. He does some training out here in North Carolina. It's pretty cool. But
oh, nice.
Figured I'd show my homie some night vision. He hasn't looked through it, and he had a good time before the live stream started.
Hell yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, I mean, if all of us, like, all the stimulus checks that they sent out, if instead they sent like stimulus night vision, I would much prefer.
That stimulus PVS 31 is pretty sick.
Yeah, yes, that's what we need. Awesome, man. I appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up?
No, bro. I'm just super appreciative to be here, man. This is awesome. I'm honored for you to have me on here, and it still seems surreal that my channel is doing well, and I'm able to sit here and live stream with guys like yourself. So thank you very much.
Oh shit, man. I'm a pebble in the ocean of rocks, man. I'm just a little guy. I appreciate you taking the time to come on, and your channel is doing fucking incredibly well. Mods, if some of the mods out there can drop Risky Chrisky's link in the chat, so we can make it easy for Sheriff Chrisky, so we can make it easy for to subscribe to him. Make sure you show him some love, man. Guys, he's jumping into this literally like just full bore, jumping into it full time, and we need to support him. So make sure we show some love. Not only, jump in, subscribe, click the notification bell, click all notifications, but also go into his premieres, his videos, his live streams, and actually take part in it, and hit him up on Instagram too. Can we get his Telegram? You got to find a way to hit him up for that. Maybe, hit him up on Instagram, and if you pass the sniff test, then he may share it with you.
That's right.
But we'll go ahead and close out. So I'll wrap it up the same way I close every single stream, which is rule number one, y'all, is to be kind, right? It's so important that we're kind in everything that we do. That little brief, like 2-second interaction that you have with people can have a huge impact on not only their day, but their lives. Rule number two is live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. Right? A hand that's open to give is open to receive. So when you bless others, you become blessed as well. And we also know that the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men that are skilled in violence. So make sure that you are becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be, and be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all y'all. Risky Chrisky, you're a fucking Chad. Thank you. And we'll see y'all later. Catch you on the flip side. Oh, and guys, make sure that you support companies like 1776 Supply Co. Tack knives, you can actually save like 20% off. Actually, not like exactly 20% off by ordering from Tack Knives USA. We've had a lot of the homies get some blades from them, and get yourself some shit to build some gats with 1776, and you know, fuck off. I'm just kidding. Not fuck off. I love y'all. Bye.